Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Linda Salvin. Thank you. Dr. John, you were amazing, and I totally get what you're talking about, and a lot of my work kind of coincides with what you do, but it's different still. And as you heard in the introduction, it made me sound like I've really done a lot. But, growing up, my idea of becoming a psychic and a metaphysical healer was not my dream. I wanted to be Joni Mitchell. So, and I ran from 2 record deals, something that kept bringing me back to the health industry. In junior college, I grew up in Los Angeles, born and raised, and I fell in love with healthcare immediately, and then went to San Francisco State and got my bachelor's in health ed, and then went to Michigan and got my MPH in epidemiology, the big word today for the epidemic, which I don't want to discuss. And then 4 years after grad school in 1981, I was on company business working for an insurance company, and the plane crash landed on the way home when we landed in John Wayne Airport, February 17th, 1981. That was my first premonition. I'd never had a psychic premonition in my life. And I was at the airport in San Jose with my partner, and we were doing ethylene oxide samples or something in the hospital for the doctor's tools or whatever, and we told everybody, don't open the autoclave, and they did, and they discounted our research. Kind of like OSHA work. And I said, we were sitting having coffee. I said, doesn't the plane look like it's going to crack there? And he looked at me and said, you're just tired. But I saw like an exhaust or a fuelage settlement on the body of the plane. And an hour and a half later, that's where the plane cracked in half when we crashed. And the landing gear was off and the engine fell off. And I was out of my body for 4 months. I stand 5'8", but there was a part of me that went 50 feet out. So it was like a cyclops. It was weird. Back then, there was no internet till 1996, and this was 1981. I was 27 years old, and there was no one to talk to. Nobody understood. They just thought I was crazy when I kept talking about these weird voices and things that happened to me, and I was a different person. That day changed my life. Long story short, while trying to heal, on my way to UCLA a year later, because I lost my job after corporate reorganization, which I know wasn't true. They didn't want to pay for what the claim was, but I got hit by a fire truck on my way to UCLA for a job interview in epidemiology. Didn't make it to that interview. And then 2 years later, I was coming home from work, and I totaled a car, and I had the white light experience. And if you don't believe it, you might get chills when I tell you what happened. And that is where I was spinning out in the car on a rainy night. I broadsided a Pinto, and a white light went from my head through the ceiling of my car into the heavens, and this loud voice said, you can come with us now or stay and do. And I was given a message, which was the same message I got coming down the chute from the plane. And I'm like, all I said when the paramedics came was they want me off the planet, because I didn't know what was going on. Fast forward, I was out of it for a long time, going back to music, trying different office jobs, working at UCLA, working at Cal State Northridge, trying something at USC, going back to epidemiology. I tried to figure out what to do, but I didn't fit. Didn't make sense. I became spiritual that day. I opened up to God in a way I didn't know. I'm Jewish, but I wasn't brought up in a religious household. All I heard about was what happened with the war, and it was more cultural than it was religious. My dad doesn't believe in God. My mother always did. And then I was in therapy, and I said, I think God put me on that plane. And the therapist goes, God? What does God have to do with it? Well, if you learn the definition of health, which was pounded into my brain in 1974 at San Francisco State. The definition of health, according to HEW, is the state of mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. That stuck with me all my life. And then going through all this trauma and searching and trying to figure it all out, I said, there's something wrong with this health system. Now, I'm an epidemiologist. That's hardcore research. But the whole other side of metaphysics, paranormal, talking to dead people, having psychic premonitions, helping people with their love life, their careers, their finances, making predictions about the stock market, selling houses, all this stuff started happening to me. Yes, I ended up as the #1 radio psychic in the United States from 1994 on KBIG 104 in LA. Then I was nationally syndicated for several years, and then I ended up on KLSX 97.1, which was CBS, which folded in 2009 when they got rid of LA with talk radio. So I had a long run on radio, but during that time, I also had emergency surgery, and I became a healer, and then I had more surgery from healing people. I put all the energy back into me, so I had 100 angiolipomas removed from my hips and thighs. I became a medium. So I started talking to dead people, didn't know what was going on, talked to another trans medium. She introduced it to me, and I thought I was wacko. I did that for 22 years. I retired from channeling professionally in 2018. Then I thought, now what am I going to do? So I went back to healthcare and the definition again, and where do I belong? I work with chiropractors, therapists, psychiatrists, celebrities, industry. It doesn't matter because we're all human. The bottom line is we're human. So whatever industry you're in, I have the ability and a gift from all this trauma that I turned into a blessing to help people, like emotionally. I have found and was given a gift to put you under like it's not hypnosis, but it's a little 40-minute situation where I'm able to remove grief, guilt, shame, fear, if you've been molested, abandoned, violated in some situation, whatever the negative is, I've learned to remove from the liver, the kidneys, the spleen, the brain, the ears, the eyes, emotion and energies in our body. Where we hold emotion in our organs and cells and tissues, and I was given a gift to help release that. Sometimes 1 or 2 sessions, and I never hear from people again because they're happier. Through the readings and the healings and the radio, I developed a candle magic line, and yes, I was on TV. I paid Kris Jenner $25,000 before she was keeping up with the Kardashians, and the candles helped her get that show in 2006, and I do have the candle line, and people may think it's weird. I did, but I learned from a very strong person how to integrate it. So why are you going to teach me? He goes, well, you're on radio, you're going to help people, and I was scared. But I've seen people heal. I've seen people make money. I've seen people grow, get married, and it's a balance from mind, body, spirit. So I said, well, what's next? So as an entrepreneur thinker, I thought, okay, there's got to be something. And last year, I found it. It brought it all home for me. And I have a booth in the room, and I'm working as an independent distributor in conjunction with my practice. So if you're a practitioner or if you're a CEO of one of the biggest tech companies in the industry, it doesn't matter, because all of your employees and your families and your friends and loved ones, we all have gut problems, constipation, earaches, stomachache, headache, acid reflux, heart, cardiovascular, gynecological, oncological. We all have something. We all have something. We're not perfect, nobody. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, this, that, spinal problems. There's a new genetic product that I am including and suggesting people really get it behind because we're 15 years ahead of the curve. And a lot of what I hear, I was here last year, and a lot of what I heard was some of the panels was the same thing I heard at Michigan in 1976. So a lot of the health industry hasn't changed, just the ideas are there, but it never gets done. This got done. So we test we swab your cheeks. You get a DNA test of 18 genes that you either got from both parents, one parent, or you were born with. Then they customize through the computer. They run your swab through the computer, and in turn you receive a clinical dose of a customized nutritional supplement for your body. So since last August, my neuropathy at the bottom of my feet has changed. I don't crave coffee anymore. I didn't know there was a coffee gene. I don't need caffeine. I had a little cough left over from when I smoked 30-something years ago. It's gone. My body internally is healing because of the plant-based nutrition I'm feeding my body. We can do all the outside work, but we're also going to do the inside work, not just emotionally, but now we want to feed it. So spiritually, emotionally, physically, I'm feeding my body. Now, Greg Braden, big author, he analyzed the chromosome, and he found, by going through the research that he did, the chromosome is defined as, how did he say it? It's almost like the world of God is within the body lives God. It's what it translates. That's our chromosomes. So we're feeding the chromosomes. The first product is a pre-nutrition where you cleanse the telomere and you start to heal the telomere, which is where we start aging. And then you give the nutrition and everything starts to heal within the body. I encourage you to come see me. If you want me to work with you on a professional corporate level, I'm available. If you want me to help you on a media level, I'm available. If you want to help your private clients and wherever you are, this is something you pass on to everybody. One of my friend's daughter, who's in college, no longer gets cramps. All the girls need that. I also learned recently that after 3 years of taking the product, the genes go back to a natural state. So if you're in a productive situation, you will not pass on the genes. I inherited this one called, excuse my French, the MFR gene, and that's the depression, cardiology, heart disease. I got it from both sides of the family. My moods have been stable on this stuff. I'm not like this. There's 3 suicides in my family, so I know depression and grief and loss and all that, and it's hard. Nobody knows everybody's story, but I can tell you your genetic story will come out on a map. I have a copy on my table. I would love to help you. And the bottom line is there's a spiritual side to life that a lot of us forget. I'm not talking religion, but we're all here for a reason. There's one big thing out there that gets us here, and I decided to just follow my spirit, and all these years later, this is where I ended up. So I just want to be available to any of you and to make you aware that there's something new on the market that no one else has or will have. Thank you so much.